The Joe Rogan Experience.
There's nothing like that for us, for music. You know, like, he took me there.
Is there a place where you guys hang?
Not really. I mean, there was at one point. You know, I bartended at the Viper Room for years.
Oh,
like, when I first
did
moved
you
there.
really?
Yeah. Well, that's how I ended up moving to L.A. I was home. It was getting really miserable in Berkeley. I'd been home for about a week from the end of touring. Everywhere I went, it was an issue. Not, you know, mostly positive, but still, it's like you feel like everybody's looking at you. There are kids camped out on my lawn. A bunch of days in a row, at least one, like 100 people come up to me a day, but one of them was like, "Hey, are you that guy from County Crows?" "Yeah." "You're Adam Duritz?" "Yeah." "You guys are so lucky." I'm like, "Thank you." I mean, because you suck. And there's so many good bands in the Bay Area. It's wild that a band as shitty as you would be so successful.
To your face.
Yeah. And I was just like, it happened like 4 or 5 days in a row. I mean, it was dwarfed by the amount of people that were coming up just loving the band, but still it was like, it started to feel like, if there's going to be one of these every day, is one of them going to have a gun? You know, is this Mark David Chapman? Is it like, it seems such a weird obsession to walk up to a total stranger in the line for a bank, you know, and just say something like that. Yeah, like, and it was so weird. But we got really famous really quickly, and the only people I knew in LA really were people at the Viper Room. I'd met a few of them playing across the street at the Whiskey on the first tours, and so I went home that day. I'd been home for I think 7 days, and it happened like 6 of those 7 days, and I got a phone call, and it was Sal and Johnny. Sal Jenko, who ran the Viper Room, he's Johnny Depp's partner, and they called me up, and they're like, "Hey, we want to invite you to this party tonight." And I was like kind of half in, half out. I wasn't really listening, and finally they're like, "Wait, what's going on, man?" And I told them what was happening, and they're like, hang on a second, I can put you on hold. I sat there on the phone and know what was going on. They came back and they said, "Okay, it's Kate Moss's 21st birthday tonight, and we're throwing a party here. The club's closed. We're just throwing a party for friends. We wanted to invite you. We got you a room at the Bel Age, and you have a reservation on the flight at 6 o'clock, Oakland to Burbank. Just get on it. Someone will pick you up at the airport. You've got a room at the Bel Age. Get the fuck out of there." So I grabbed my stuff, went to the airport, went to this party at the Viper Room with just like interesting people. And I was like, I didn't go home again. That was it. I moved to LA after that. It was, I stayed at the Bel Age for a few days. I moved to like a bungalow at the Sunset Marquis, and then eventually I rented this house in the hills. One of the bartenders, Shannon McManus at the Viper, her best friend was Christine Applegate, and she was my landlord. She rented me this old, she had this fucking place. It was like a little cottage in Laurel Canyon, and it turned out it was built by the cowboy star Tom Mix in the 20s, and then it was David Niven's in-town fuck pad, and he named it Rogues Retreat when there was a little sign up there after this TV show he was on called The Rogues in the 60s. And then, I don't know, I think it was I don't know what it was after that, but she owned it, and I stayed there. I wrote most of our second record in that place before I bought a place. But yeah, man, the Viper Room, for a couple of years there, I bartended all the time because it was just less crowded on that side of the bar. So my friends all worked there, so I was be there anyways, hanging out with them. And
so
after
you
a while,
bartended while you were a rock star?
Oh yeah, huge rock at the height of it.
Wow.
Because I was back there, and I'd be hanging out with Shannon, smoking a cigarette, drinking beers behind the bar, you know, in the downstairs bar there, the little one. And I don't know, at one point, I'd help her out with stuff, and at one point she's like, "I gotta go to the bathroom. There's nobody else. Will you just, mind the bar?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." So I did it. And I had no qualms about berating people for tips. I'm a rock star, and they're not my tips, so why not? So I made her like a few $100s in the 5 minutes she was gone, and she's like, "You got to do this all the time." So I just started going there. I mean, that's where I lived anyways. I was kind of there every day. The only people I knew, so I just started bartending every night, and it was like my home. It was like
amazing.
it was like the Cheers thing. I felt like okay there.
It's kind of a cool way to interact with people too, because there is a barrier, and it is less crowded over there, and it's probably kind of fun.
Yeah, and you talk to them if you want to. If you don't want to, you got to get a beer for someone else.
Right.
So, and there was just so many people. It was like what I thought, the left bank would have been like in Paris in the 20s. I mean, it was like Allen Ginsberg coming in, and William Burroughs, the Hughes brothers, all these different filmmakers, musicians, Tom Petty. It was just really wild. Gibby Haynes from the Butthole Surfers. We were all just hanging out there.
Wow.
It was like Johnny's Clubhouse, and we had barbecues on Sunset on Sundays, and we just sort of, for a few years, it was this really cool like club, kind of.
Wow.
Like a clubhouse. It was very much like that.
Catch new episodes of the Joe Rogan Experience for free only on Spotify. Watch back catalog JRE videos on Spotify, including clips. Easily, seamlessly switch between video and audio experience. On Spotify, you can listen to the JRE in the background while using other apps and can download episodes to save on data cost, all for free. Spotify is absolutely free. You don't have to have a premium account to watch new JRE episodes. You just need to search for the JRE on your Spotify app. Go to Spotify now to get this full episode of the Joe Rogan Experience.